I went to Bisbee and now I'm going to talk about it. So as you may or may not know, I've been traveling in my 1948 schoolie. I thought for a while I wanted to start a YouTube channel showcasing some of the more lesser known hidden gems of America that are a little bit more off the beaten path than some of these more popular destinations. And it just happened by chance through my struggles of trying to get my bus to the West Coast that I noticed on my route that I was taking that I already had a city saved. And of course, as the title of the video suggests, that city was Bisbee, Arizona. It turns out, while I was planning this whole series, several months before I even bought my bus, I actually saved this city in my map, planning on doing a video on it as a part of this series, and I had completely forgotten about it. So I just went in head first, not really knowing what to expect. Before we get into that though, I do want to explain just how I ended up here in the first place. If you've seen my last video, you probably know by now that my bus is far from a road trip worthy vehicle, let alone, you know, a full-time house. And because of all the issues I was having with overheating, I had to avoid highways entirely. And because of that, I completely avoided the 10 freeway and went south and took the historic US 80. And the scenery on that route is just absolutely stunning. It's definitely not for everyone, but if you're like me and you can appreciate like the vast open emptiness of a desert environment, you can definitely appreciate the beauty of this route. It kind of reminds me of like that Forrest Gump road in Monument Valley, except on a budget. And I'll definitely show you a lot more of this route in my other series that's more focused around, you know, the actual traveling instead of the destinations like this one. But eventually I did get there and ended up discovering a little place called Lowell. But I felt like I blended right in because as I was driving up the street, the whole street was lined with all these classic old abandoned cars. So I obviously had to stop and have a look around. All right, this might sound crazy, but I think I just discovered stealth parking in a 1948 bus. Check it out. I decided against camping out for the night. I thought it was a cool idea to, you know, stealth camp in a 1948 schoolie, because I mean, where else in the world are you going to be able to stealth camp in something like this? But I thought it would be pretty cool to have access to a toilet, so I decided against it. But of course, while I was there, I had to get some photos. They're nothing special, really. I'm sure there's millions of other photos just like these taken by the many other tourists traveling through here. But I like the way some of them came out and thought they were worth sharing anyways. The ones on my little point and shoot might actually be my favorite. My only nitpicky thing about all these though is the fact that there's all these modern cars in the background. I feel like it just takes away from the vibe entirely. I don't know when they decided to start making cars ugly, but I hope one day they stop. By the time I actually got into Bisbee though, the sun had already gone down, so I found a little spot alongside the road to camp out at for the night. And now that it was a beautiful morning in the historic city of Bisbee, I could take a walk around town while I go over a brief history of the Copper Queen City. Bisbee's story starts back in the late 1870s when Army Scout Jack Dunn and a group of his soldiers were in the Mule Mountains during the Apache conflicts, which is crazy that all that was going on like not even that long ago when you think about it. And he noticed unusually mineral rich rock in the hills, which was an indicator of copper, silver, lead, and gold. The first claims were staked around 1877 to 1880, which, by the way, is apparently still a thing you can do today. Like, just stake a claim and mine some metals. And the settlement that grew around the mines was named Bisbee. It was named after a financial backer of the Copper Queen mine, Judge Dewitt Bisbee, which is a bit odd considering that Bisbee never actually visited Bisbee in his life. But, you know, money talks, so the Copper Queen mine carried the boom of Bisbee. It quickly became one of the most important cities involved in America's industrial rise, since copper was essential for electronic wire and other industrial uses. At one point, Bisbee was actually the biggest city in Arizona, peaking at a population of about 25,000. Trying to squeeze that many people into these steep canyon walls is why Bisbee has such a unique layout and architecture even to this day. Each of the hotels I stayed at during my stay have actually been there since this peak in Bisbee's history, just like many of the other restaurants and bars and homes. And getting my bus through here was nothing short of a miracle. I have no idea how I made it out without a scratch. I mean, it's not like I would notice if any more scratches got on this thing anyways. But the financial boom wouldn't last forever. In 1917, during World War I, over 1,000 miners were on strike. They were rounded up at gunpoint and loaded into cattle cars before being dumped in the New Mexico desert without any food or water in what would later be known as the Bisbee Deportation. The decline was slow after that. The copper became harder to reach and production slowed down until finally in 1975, mining stopped entirely. It would have become just like any other mining town in America and just been left completely abandoned. But the next year, in 1976, they opened the Queen Mine Tour, which started Bisbee's whole tourist economy. People started moving in again, and the town slowly evolved into a hub of art, music, saloons, and haunted history. I got to know some of the locals, and they said it used to be a very art-heavy city, but it's more recently been leaning heavily into music. And I swear everyone I met there was in at least 2 bands, so I don't doubt it. Pretty much every bar has live music, restaurants too, but my favorite has to be Room 4 Bar, apparently the smallest bar in all of Arizona. It's a bar situated inside a hotel in the Brewery Gulch, and it looks like they just cleared out a storage closet and stuck a bar counter in the middle. But the place really comes alive when the band is playing. Sometimes they play out on the patio, but most of the nights I came there playing inside. And no offense to all the other bands playing, but the whiskey liquors definitely stole the show. And I only planned on staying a couple nights, but I instantly got hooked. I mean, the locals were chill, the food was good, music's good, and of course the scenery was just fantastic. So I ended up staying for like 9 or 10 days, I think. The next morning, I decided to just explore around a bit, see what they had to offer, and take some photos. I was using Ektar 100, which is normally my favorite film, and I thought it would be, you know, the perfect film for this setting because, you know, Ektar normally has very vibrant colors. It's very detailed, but I guess the film was expired or something happened to it, and it gave all the photos like this yellow tint to it. I really don't know what happened, and I didn't really get a whole lot of keepers because of that. But it is what it is. Another thing I noticed too is it seemed like all the locals drove classic cars, and I tried my best to get some photos as they drove by, but to no luck. There was this bakery that always had a massive line outside, which made me curious, but not curious enough to wait in line to try it. So I guess you'll just have to come through and see for yourself if it's worth it. Okay, so I ran through that film a lot quicker than I thought I would. Hopefully some of them are keepers because I am fresh out of film now, and I'm not going to be able to take any more photos in town because nowhere else sells film anywhere near here. I even started checking antique stores to see if, you know, there's an off chance they got, you know, old expired film, because I have gotten lucky once and found a couple rolls in an antique shop, but not here. So yeah, a bit of a bummer, but yeah, I guess with nothing left to do, I'm going to walk up the road and get some lunch. I never actually got the name of this place, but I guess it doesn't really matter since the guy said they were closing in March. But I guess they were known for their birria tacos, which I was super excited to try because I love birria tacos. Unfortunately, the first time I came through, they were completely sold out already. But luckily, he recommended that I try the mushroom birria tacos, which I didn't even know was a thing. But let me tell you, they were the greatest birria tacos I've had in my life. It almost tasted like chicken, but it was like super juicy and just so flavorful. And he even brought out a little plate of fried mushrooms on the house that were also just to die for. They were so good. And after that, I checked into my first hotel, the Copper Queen Hotel. Built in 1902, the Copper Queen is actually the oldest continuously operating hotel in all of Arizona. And in that time, it's been host to several notable guests, like John Wayne, who apparently was a regular and actually has room 211 named after him. And Harry Houdini and Theodore Roosevelt have also stayed in this exact hotel, which is just crazy. It's also said to be haunted, but pretty much every hotel in the city says that, so take that with a grain of salt. I feel like that's more of just a touristy thing. Whew, what a walk. So this is the hotel I've been staying at the Copper Queen in Bisbee, Arizona. Not much to show here. This is the smallest room they had because I figure all I really needed was a shower. Just wanted to get the cheapest room they had, and this is it. A little bit more about this place. It was built in 1902 apparently, and really shows with some of this old furniture in this bathroom. I really love this bathroom. Looks incredible. I don't know a whole lot about the history about this place. I think I'm going to look more into that because it seems like a really, really cool place. I might check out some of the other hotels in the area too because I might be staying here a little bit longer. The vibe is really cool in this town, and I'm in no rush to get anywhere, so might as well set up camp here for a little while. And of course, later that night, I had to go back to the room 4. And this time they were playing out on the patio, which was a pretty cool vibe. I ended up meeting one of the guys that I guess kind of helps run the whole operation. And he said he was starting a YouTube channel centered around the room 4 bar. I never got the name of the channel, but if I do get a name for the channel before this video goes up, I'll definitely link that in the description. They were all super cool though. They even offered to let me use their shower just because they knew I was staying in the bus. So if you're ever in Bisbee, definitely give them some business and definitely give them a good tip. I ended up hopping around to a few other bars in town, some notable ones being St. Elmo's. Apparently that's one of the longest running bars in Arizona, even operating through Prohibition, which is crazy. And Chuckleheads as well. The guy running that show is an absolute legend. Definitely go there if you're in town. So I didn't get any footage of these places because by the time I set foot in there, I was already very well sauced up. So I guess you'll just have to come into town to see them for yourself. But the night came to a close, and then I was on to my next hotel, which would be Castle Rock Inn, or the Inn at Castle Rock. Oh, hello there. Welcome to my hotel room. Yeah, so when I was checking into a 130-year-old hotel, I don't know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't this.
I don't know how to feel about it just yet, but it is certainly unique. Don't know what you call this style of interior design. There's like bamboo on the ceiling. I mean, definitely not the worst bathroom I've stayed in a hotel. Certainly have experienced a lot worse than this. The shower is it's not bad. It's not bad. This window, what does that lead to? I can't really see. There's too much of a glare. What's going on out there? Can you guys see? Yeah. Oh, look at that too. We got some toiletries. That's nice. That's nice. So yeah, I mean that's it. There's really not much else to say. There's no TV in any of the rooms, but that's all good. Probably not going to be spending a whole lot of time in here because I'm going to be going out drinking. Yeah, there's a really cool bar that I've been to the last 2 nights. It's the smallest bar in America supposedly, and they got live music, and it is an incredible vibe. I'll definitely get some footage tonight. If they're open, that is. It is a Sunday, and a lot of places here are closed on Sundays, so fingers crossed. So yeah, not much else to say beyond that. I'm just going to let my phone charge, let my batteries charge, and head out.
Built in 1895, it is a bit older than the Copper Queen, but it was originally used as a residential building for the miners. And with this being a residential building for the miners, it was a center point of tension during the Bisbee Deportations of 1917. And the whole interior layout was very interesting. There's actually a huge well in the middle of the lobby that still has water running under it to this day. Like most of Bisbee, the history is deep and rich. All the following days were more of the same, more or less. Going out for a night of drinking, trying out all the food they had to offer. The Thai food place that's just up the road on the main street is to die for. Definitely go there if you're in town. And just a little bit down the road from there, there's a place called the Badassery. Probably my favorite food place. I think I ate there like 4 or 5 times while I was there. And honestly, for a while, I tried justifying in my head that since I live in a bus, I could just set up camp and live here. But as badly as I wanted that, I knew I had to continue my journey westward. Before I left though, of course I had to spend one last night at the Room 4 bar and enjoyed a couple drinks and some live music. They could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Now it kind of starts to hold.
Okay, so I've had an absolute blast of a time here in Bisbee, Arizona. I really was only expecting to stay here like 2 or 3 days, and it's already been well over a week now. So yeah, it's a pretty good time down here. But yeah, now it's time to head out. I'm hoping to come back here in springtime after I'm done with this little winter trip up the coast. So yeah, look forward to that. But for now, I'm gonna head out. But before I do, I'm gonna go down to the Bisbee Breakfast Club on Erie Street because I only got to eat there one time, but it was so good. I cannot leave here again without having it at least one more time. So yeah, let's go do that. After fueling up on some delicious country fried steak, I finally head up the mountain and out of Bisbee.
With this new vantage point, it really puts into perspective just how tightly packed this city is within the canyon. I gave one final goodbye to Bisbee and head through the Mule Pass Tunnel, where I continued my journey west up until the sun set, somewhere in the Sierra Vista. So I really didn't expect this video to be as long as it ended up being. I really thought I was going to be able to just crank out this script, throw together a video, and have it out by the next day. But not even halfway through writing this, I realized there was just no way I could squeeze this all into something so short. There's just so much rich history in the city of Bisbee that it's really hard to just sum it up in one short script. Plus, I kind of went into this really unprepared, so I didn't get a whole lot of footage on the ground talking about things. But obviously going forward, I would be a lot more prepared for my next one. Continuing my journey westward, my next stop is going to be Julian, California. So if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so you don't miss it. And if you made it this far in the video, I'm assuming that means you must have liked the video, so why not leave a like? And of course, while you're down there, leave a comment what you liked, what you didn't like. As always, all feedback, positive or negative, goes a long way and is very much appreciated. But with all that out of the way, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one in Julian, California.